Welcome everyone to today's DONE.photos webinar. I'm Donna. I handle communication and marketing at DONE.photos. And as many of you already know, DONE.photos is a comprehensive end-to-end volume photography software solution for photographers working primarily in schools, sports, dance, event space. Little background, DONE.photos is actually powered by NetLife Photo Suite. So it brings US studios access to like a super robust global system that is currently being used in 38 countries around the world. So that's pretty cool. We are joined today by Jeff Brown. I know many of you are really excited to hear what he has to say today, as are we. Jeff is known throughout our industry as the photographer's mentor. So he is an international photography business mentor. He's a best-selling author. He's also the president of the British Institute for Professional Photography. He works closely with photographers across many niches. We're really excited that there's actually many niches in our industry representing the audience today. So welcome, everyone. Jeff works to help photographers strengthen their online brand and grow their businesses. Today's webinar is incredibly timely and important. Jeff's going to talk to us about what's changing with Google, why traditional SEO is shifting, and what photography businesses need to do to understand AEO, which is, I'm going to get this wrong, answer engine optimization. Is that right?
That's right.
So we are so grateful to have you here today with us, Jeff, and welcome.
Thank you. My pleasure. So do you want me to just start and get rolling?
Yeah, you can get started. And then folks, we are going to ask you to put any questions that you might have in the chat. I'll be monitoring that as Jeff does his presentation. And he's given me permission to interrupt him with pertinent questions. So as they come up for you, please do ask. And anything we don't get to during the session, we'll make sure we get to at the end of the session. So take it away, Jeff.
Good. Thank you. So before we go into the AEO and how websites are changing, first of all, we want to talk about what is the purpose of a website, because a lot of photographers get this wrong. And funny enough, just before we went live, we were talking about me being at SPAC in Las Vegas in, I think it was the end of January, wasn't it? And when I was there, I did photography website reviews for a lot of people for pretty much 2 days solid. And I was surprised by how many people had very, very weak websites. Traditional photography type websites, which are like portfolio based, don't have much text, don't have a call to action, and they're not really speaking to the customer. And that is the most important thing now because of AI search. The search engines are changing from keyword related to content related. So it's really important that you have a website that not only shows up, but it actually excites people and gets people to do something, creates desire and gets people to take action. So the first thing with any website, and this is where I see a lot of photographers go wrong, is they mix their messages. So do you sell an emotion or do you sell a solution? So there's two ways of selling photography, to the public or to businesses. To the public, we tend to sell emotion. So we sell things like family portraits. School photos are emotional. However, school photos are also a solution if you were selling school photos to the schools. So if you're a school photographer, who is your website for? Is your website there to attract more schools? So the purpose of the website is to attract more schools and get them to use you because of your seamless, easy school photography, which makes the whole process easy for parents to order online and everything is done from the one point. Or is it there to attract parents? Now, normally, if it's not there to attract parents because parents have a direct login, so they're not looking for that. They've got a direct QR code or a login for the website. So if your website is there to attract schools, you're actually selling a solution to a problem. You're not selling an emotion. And emotional websites and solution-based websites are two different things. The messages, the colors, the fonts, the feel, the communication are completely different. So you would always split your websites. So if you're a headshot photographer, but you also do babies or you do pets, don't have headshots and babies on the same website because you're trying to send out two completely different messages. And I always say, if you want to, don't try and appeal to everybody, right? If you try to appeal to everybody, you become special to no one. The best way is to niche down and specialize, and then you become much more desirable. So I don't know if anybody can guess what determines a successful website. So if you want to put in the chat, if you can tell me what you think determines a successful website, and you can probably do this in about 3 words. So I'm not looking for a really complicated answer. I want you to give me, what would you say determined a successful website? For your website to be successful, what would it be? Have I got any answers?
Not yet. Not yet. Being able to be found. Make it about the clients.
Some really good answers there. David Harrison. Yeah, I like that answer there, David.
Creating conversations in a search, able to solve my problems, convert leads to clients.
So a website effectively has to do 3 things, right? So if it falls down on any one of these 3 points, that's it, your website's failed. It hasn't worked. So in order for a website to officially work, it needs to, first of all, be found. So I think somebody said that, to be found. So it needs to be found amongst the millions and millions of other websites out there on Google and on all the search engines. Remember, now people are going to ChatGPT, they're going to Copilot Bing, they're asking Gemini on their phone. So the content is even more important now because it's not as much about keywords, it's more about quality content. So it needs to be found first. So once your website gets found, the next thing it needs to do is create desire. If you just have a load of pretty pictures on there and you don't have any text, you don't sell the benefits of what you do, you don't get people excited, then it's not going to create desire. But you need it to get somebody to do something. Because if it gets found and creates desire, then somebody hits the back button and goes, your website's still failed. A website can only be a success if it gets somebody to do something. And traditionally, there are actually 4 things that people can do. They can call you direct. So if you've got your phone number on there with your mobile or landline number, they can give you a call. They can make an instant purchase. So if you sell something, if you sell packages that they can purchase, or if you sell wall art or images, if you're a landscape photographer, or even if you're a portrait photographer and you're selling vouchers, they can do that. They can book a consultation. So depending on what type of photography you do, you might ask somebody to book a consultation, because if you're a wedding photographer and your price is £2,000 or $4,000, somebody isn't just going to go onto your website and book you as a wedding photographer there and then. They need to have a chat. They need to have, it's like test driving a car. They need to have a little test drive of you first before they make the purchase. So your main call to action, if you're at the higher end, if your services are, like wedding photography or like commercial business photography, they might want to book a consultation. And then finally, the last thing, if they're not ready to call you direct, make an instant purchase, or book a consultation, the last thing you should try and get off them before they hit that back button, is to get them to sign up for something. Because at least if you get their email address, you can remarket to them. But if they don't do one of those 4 things, the only thing they can do is hit that back button and leave. And the back button is actually the most used button on the internet. So your website needs to be found to get people excited and then get them to do something. And if you look at traditionally car websites, so like if you go to a Mercedes website or a BMW website, the website obviously gets found. Then it creates desire for the car, but it doesn't create desire for the car just showing loads of pictures of cars. It has text, it has video, it talks about how your life will change when you have this car. So if you go to a Land Rover Discovery website, you will see videos of Land Rovers driving through the mountains and the family getting out and having a picnic and the dogs jumping out the back of the Land Rover. And this is how exciting your life will be when you have a Land Rover, because it's for outdoorsy people and it's creating that outdoorsy feel. But then the website doesn't try and sell the Land Rover. What the website does, it says, come and have a free test drive. Because it's hard to sell a $100,000 car. You're not just going to drop it into your shopping basket like you do on Amazon and hope it gets delivered tomorrow. So what they do is they sell something for free. They sell that free test drive, because the purpose of the website is to sell the test drives, not to sell the car. It's to create desire for the car, sell the test drive, and then the salesman sells the car when you go down and test drive it. So think about that with your photography. It's to sell the benefits of what you do, get people excited, and take them to the next step, bring them closer towards becoming a customer. Now, the whole point of this webinar is to talk about AEO, which is Answer Engine Optimization. So now your website needs to be found by AI search. So things are changing, and you've probably seen this when you've gone onto Google, but also when you go onto like Microsoft, Copilot, Bing, it starts to generate what is called AI search results. So you probably heard of SEO, so search engine optimization, which was all about keywords. Now Google and AI are so advanced, it doesn't need to see the word school photographer or portrait photographer or headshot photographer repeated 20 times on your homepage. In fact, if it does see that, then it's probably going to penalize you because it's keyword stuffed. What it needs to see is who you are, what you do, and the whole client journey, the whole client experience, what it's like working with you, the steps to the solution. It needs to see pricing. It needs to see guarantees and testimonials. It needs to develop trust and show your experience within that industry. Because the way answer engine optimization works and the way AI search works is you put a question into Google or you ask something into Google and you'll start to see this AI summary. And what the AI summary is doing, it's grabbing information from helpful, relevant websites and bringing that to the front page. So even if traditionally your website has ranked poorly for headshot photographer New York or wedding photographer London, then what's happening is if you've got quality content on there, you've got a chance to bring your website to the front in the AI search results and also to the pin search results on the right-hand side. And I can do a screen share at the end of this and show you some examples. So the advantage now is we're not writing for search engines, we're writing for the public, we're writing for humans. We're talking about the whole experience and what we're doing, and we're putting it in plain, simple, easy language. And remember that AI, artificial intelligence, is actually trained on human language, so we don't have to, it's not as complicated as it was with SEO. It's about creating the right sort of content so that we can be found by answer engine optimization. Now, currently, if you just do a general search, so it might be something like wedding photographers, or who is the best wedding photographer, or best wedding photographer in London, recommended wedding photographer in Edinburgh. About 20 to 30% of general searches are now developing what is called an AI overview. However, question-based searches now trigger between 70 and 80% of AI overviews. And you can try this yourself. So if you think about it, if your client is typing in, how soon should I book my wedding photographer? Or what is the average price of a wedding photographer in Boston? Then that is a question. And that is going to trigger a search. And the search is going to look at FAQ pages. It's going to look at the quality of the content of your homepage. And it's also going to look at your blog pages and bring that information to the front. So anybody who doesn't have that quality content, they're just going to vanish out the searches. And the other interesting thing you'll see when you see an AI overview search, when you scroll down the page, there's no sponsored links. So all those Google sponsored links have disappeared. It's basically AI is saying, tell you what, this is your question, right? You want to know when's the best time to book a wedding photographer. I'm going to find the answer for you. I'm going to scour the entire internet, and then I'm going to give you the answer that you need from the sites that I think are strong and provide valuable content. So AI is now doing it, as opposed to giving you a list of 10 links that you can click on. It's actually now done the groundwork for you and saying, these are the ones that we recommend and featured based on the quality of the content, not the number of times a keyword appears or how many backlinks they've got. And I'm seeing clients add FAQ pages and blogs to their website, answering people's questions, and actually start to get results in about 3 or 4 weeks, and actually get bookings because people have found them through their FAQ page. And I've actually had a couple of bookings myself from people who've come onto my mentoring program thinking about using Photography Business Mentor, and they've found me through my FAQ page. So the advantage to yourself is you can start getting traction quite quickly. So people do search differently now. It's not about short 2-word searches. People are asking full questions, and AI is actually doing the groundwork for us. So if you want, I can quickly stop this screen here, and let's have a look. We'll bring up Google. And I'll show you an example. That's it. Let me open Google while I'm look. For some reason this is defaulted to Microsoft browser. Here we go. So let's think. I'm going to type in when should there we are. When should I book my wedding photographer?
I think we're still just seeing your presentation, Jeff, just so you know.
Right. Let's have a look. Sharing. And let's have a look. Can you see this now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So now I'm on Google. I'm showing you, and then we'll have to go. We'll go back to the slides after this. So now that this is a question-based search. Now you see straight away, and you've probably seen this before when you do your own searches, when you're asking any questions. I've typed in, when should I book my wedding photographer? And straight away, AI Overview has generated this information, but it's actually telling me where it's got this information from. So it's got it from David Walters Photography and 2 other sources. So here is all the information here that is advising me when to book my wedding photographer. And then on the other side of the page, which are the featured snippets, it's also giving valuable content. And you can see David's website here. Now, as we scroll down, just going to move the screen up to one side. We'll see the first web page there is David's web page. Now, also, Google is telling us what other people are asking very similar questions. And then beneath that, other websites. Now you can see these are blogs. Usually blogs and FAQ pages, unless people have a lot of information on their homepage. So no sponsored links on there. So if somebody is asking a question, potentially, and if you're doing Google Ads, you might not be showing up because people are in the questioning phase. So that's the difference. So when it's a question-based search, now we've established that about 70 to 80% of question-based searches generate this AI overview. And what happens is, if you haven't got good content there, you're not actually going to show up, no matter how good your keywords, because AI is doing all the hard work for you. And remember, it's 70 to 80% at the moment and 20 to 30% on general searches. But this is only getting more and more as the months go on, because eventually everything will become AI.
There's a quick question in the chat. You see it?
It says something about searching for a wedding photographer.
Yeah. Search for an actual wedding photographer in my area. It does still first show 3 sponsored links before the AI results appear.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm in the AI results, meaning this photographer himself is in the results, but is still seeing, it sounds like, the sponsored links. But as you're saying, that's something that we can anticipate
Yeah,
seeing.
will change. Yeah, so it's so
Yeah.
you still you still do get, because I've done it myself, you know, like restaurants near me and stuff like that. You still getting Google Maps, you're still getting sponsored links, but it depends on how you framing the question. So there we've got like recommended wedding photographers in New York. So again, it's done an AI overview. So it's a bit of a hybrid. So it's a bit of a mix. Then it's got the Google Business where it's showing the reviews. And let's have a look. It doesn't look like there's any sponsored links on this one. No, so there's no sponsored links on that one. So I suppose if you're doing something like wedding photographers London, wedding photographers Newcastle, so you're doing just a direct, very short 2 or 3 word search. As soon as you start putting additional words in, then this is when it's going over to the AI search result. Now I'll go back to stop sharing, and we'll go back to the presentation again. We'll just start the slideshow from the current slide. So you can see that okay?
Yes, we can.
Yep. So bearing in mind what we've been talking about, one thing to be aware of is search intent. So there are 3 forms of search intent, and we all go through this when we're making a purchase, especially if it's something, you know, like a major purchase. The first purchase is informational search intent. That is the first type of search intent. So that is when somebody is thinking about something and they're actually doing a bit of groundwork first. So as opposed to just going over to Google and typing wedding photographer near me or portrait photographer, waiting for a list and clicking on it, people are starting to get an idea. Oh, I wouldn't mind getting a family portrait, you know, best type of portrait photography. How much should I pay for a portrait? How should I, you know, what should I look for when hiring a portrait photographer? So they're going through the informational stage. So this is when FAQs and blogs are really, really powerful, because you're getting people right at the very beginning. You're capturing them when they're in the search element. And also, if you can get them to sign up to your newsletter or sign up to your blog at the same time, then you can remarket to them. So that is the first part. So that is the informational search intent. Once somebody has decided on, they know what they want. So they want, so originally they were looking for a family photographer. Now, from doing their informational search intent, they know that they want a storytelling outdoor family photographer, because they'd like to go and get some beautiful family portraits, very relaxed, very sort of like reportage, nothing too posed, down at the beach. So now they know what they're looking for. So they go back to the search, and then they're doing what is called commercial search intent. And this is where they land on product pages or service pages, and they can compare. So they'll say, oh, this guy has this, and this, and this is his price. This person has this, and this, and this is their price. So that is the commercial search intent. And then the final part of the search is the transactional search intent. And this is where they're ready to buy, they're ready to make a purchase. So people go through 3 different forms of the informational, the comparison, where they're looking at services and product pages, and then the actual physical purchase. Now, Google had a big change back in 2020, and then later on in sort of 2023, 24, really started to focus on quality content using what is known as EAT, which is Google's algorithm for, it's like it's assessing the quality of a website, and it's broken down. It's into, the first E stands for experience. So experience as in you have experience in doing what you do. So they want to see, they don't want to just see images there, because the images don't tell anything. They don't tell a story. They want to know your experience of being a wedding photographer or being a portrait photographer. How long have you been doing it? How many shoots have you done? Who have you worked for? Can we see testimonials there? Can we talk about your whole process and how it works? Your expertise. Now, your expertise comes in with your FAQs in your blog. So if you have your expertise of answering people's questions, that shows that you're an expert at what you do. So your website should show your experience, not just be a gallery of images. It should show your experience, how your whole process works, what's involved when they work with you, the steps to having a fantastic family portrait, what's included in your packages. Then they want us to see your authority. And your authority is, it's basically things like testimonials. So have you testimonials, 5-star reviews? Who have you worked for? If you're a commercial photographer, have you got logos of the companies that you've worked for with testimonials up there? Do you have a guarantee? Do you have a guarantee? A lot of photographers don't have a guarantee. And that's, you know, if you can offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee, it's a great way of standing out from your competitors. And obviously, if people, you know, if you're a headshot photographer and you say something like, you know, I guarantee you love the photographs, well, you don't pay a penny. If somebody comes to your studio and you're shooting tethered so they can see the images at the time while you're doing it, and you're getting that live feedback, there's no reason why that person shouldn't walk away with an image that they totally love. And you can confidently give 100% satisfaction guarantee. And when all the businesses, all the 4 photography businesses I had, we offered 100% satisfaction guarantee. And we never had to give a refund. Yes, okay, we did have some issues every now and then, but nobody's perfect, but not an issue to give away a full refund. And then the final bit is trust. And when it's looking for trust, Google is looking for your privacy policy, your terms and conditions, your sort of cookies pop up. It's also looking for the address matches up with your Google business address. It's also looking for a genuine email address there. So it might be, you know, dave@davesweddingphotos.com, not sexydave@hotmail.com, because obviously that doesn't look very trustworthy. So make sure all your contact information is displayed on there, and it's displayed the same way as it is on your Google My Business page and your other media. So that is it: experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And that is sort of Google's benchmark when it overlooks a website. So apart from your homepage of your website, it's really important to have other pages that give more information that can target people through those different stages of search, from informational search, which would be obviously blogs, FAQs pages, your transactional search, which is when people, commercial search, when people are comparing like for like, and that's your products and services pages. FAQs pages, we'll talk about those a little bit more detail. Your blog, and client case studies as well. How have you helped other people? How have you shown other people, offered a solution to their problem? You know, past headshots, how you've gone out and done a headshot for a company and you photographed 250 people throughout this company, and they all got their images within 5 days. Everyone was lit exactly the same. Everybody went back to their desk within 5 minutes with a headshot that they truly loved. So tell that story about the company, and show how important it is, how you've helped other people, because when people can see how you've helped them, then they can see how you would help them too.
So Jeff, there's a question. It says, how important is it to create local pages with local towns mentioned for the services we provide? Which I think is a great question. I actually wondered the same.
What was that? Sorry, local pages for?
With the local towns mentioned for the services we provide, would that be seen as gaming Google and other AI search platforms?
So obviously with mobile search, if people are searching on their mobile, it's going to be geographically pinned to where you're searching. So if I went to look for, typed in restaurants and I was in Wales, then the restaurants are going to start coming up for Wills because it's geographically tagging to where my phone is. Now you've got to remember that a large proportion of search now, probably 70%, 80% of search is actually done through a mobile. So it might not be as important to go through having individual search pages for that particular area, because unless people are going direct to the photographer Newcastle or photographer New York, think about the search intent. So if you have if you have really good information on your website and it's within a geographical region or an area, then your website's going to show up because it's going to be a strong website. So if it's answering a particular question for that county, then it's probably going to come up. If somebody is searching in a different country or 3 or 4 counties away, it's probably not going to come up. So I don't think it is as important to have multiple pages for all those towns and areas, just really good quality content. You could try with landing pages for particular promotions or if you're doing events, but I think that the main thing is to get that quality content all the way through. And your content starts with your header, which is the banner image of the website. That's the first thing that people see when they land on your website, and that's known as above the fold. And that needs to be saying who you are and also what you do, and a really impactful image. And I always say when you come to your banner image at the top, try and just have one single image as opposed to a slider of images or something that's changing very slowly, because people aren't going to hang around for long. People don't tend to hang around on a website that doesn't make an impact. People tend to hit the back button within about 3 to 5 seconds if it hasn't made an impact. So go for a really big, powerful image that stops people and they go, wow. And then it has a headline and a subheading that says who you are and what you do. So it might say, beautiful bespoke wedding photography, helping couples create happy memories throughout New York. Simple as that. So it says who you are and what you actually do, and it's got a beautiful image at the top. And then you could have a call to action button as well in the banner that says book a free consultation to find out more. So your banner needs to be about the customer, saying who they are, who you are, and what you offer to them with a really impactful image. Now, the next thing is you need to empathize. So your opening part of your website isn't going to be talking about you and how long you've been in business and what camera you first got when you got into photography. Your first part of your website needs to be talking the customer's language, empathizing with their problems, saying, yeah, we understand that your wedding day is your most important day. And you don't want to be dragged from pillar to post by a photographer. You might even be nervous about having your picture taken, but don't worry, that's not the way we work. We put people at ease. So straight away, think about your clients, the particular niche you're into, you're working in, and how can you empathize? What problems do they have? And how the first bit of text that you have on your website, how you can start speaking their language, so that when they land on your website, they can see who you are, what you do, and then the first bit they read, this is what I'm looking for. This is solving a problem. This person understands me. So always make sure that your website is speaking to the customer and it's not speaking about you. Then you should sell the benefits of what you do, the benefits of your photography. How does that help? The steps to the solution, how easy it is to work with you. So that might be step 1, book a consultation call. Step 2, schedule a time for your photo shoot. Step 3, come along for your fun-filled family photo shoot. Step 4, display your beautiful wall art in your home for years to come. So 4 simple steps to the end solution. And you see this a lot on car websites, on hotel websites, on holiday websites, how easy it is. On a car website, it might be discover our range, customize your vehicle, book your test drive, get your car delivered. Simple as that. 4 steps to spending $100,000 or £60,000 on a new car. So have your testimonials repeated throughout your homepage. Don't have them on a testimonial page, because the chances are people aren't going to go over to the testimonial page. Your homepage is the main page that they're going to land on, and you want them to see those testimonials there. You've got really good, powerful testimonials that need to be working for you on your homepage. Then a little bit about you. And when talking about yourself, don't talk about how long you've been into photography. Talk about you as an authority. So how long you've had the business, who you've worked for, how many shoots you've done, where your work's been featured, the brands that you've worked for, anything that makes you sound like an authority. But just keep it short. Keep it to maybe two or three line paragraphs. Then a price qualifier. So you don't have to have a full pricing section on your website, but I would say I would definitely have a price qualifier on there. And the reason you have a price qualifier on there is you don't want to be doing calls, or you don't want to be doing Zooms with people or in-person meetings if people aren't qualified to your price bracket. So one of the most important things is to have a website that looks premium and looks high-end. So the design, the colors, the fonts, it looks premium. It really sells the benefits of what you do. It looks high-end. And then if you have a qualifier price, headshots from $195, wedding packages from £2,500. If you have a budget of £2,500 or more, and you're looking for a wedding photographer in Glasgow, then let's speak. Book a consultation. We can talk about your big day. So that you then know that anybody who fills out your form and books a consultation call, they're qualified to 2,500. They're qualified to your minimum, but you have packages that go up to 5,000. And because you use value-based pricing, the more the customer spends, the better value they get in. That's why people don't buy on price, people buy on value. So people will spend more. If everybody bought on price, everybody buy a bottom of the range car. Everyone would stay in a standard hotel room. They wouldn't stay in a deluxe or a suite or anything like that. And then finally, on your homepage, you need to get them to take action. So you need to remind them, right, okay, you've come this far, book a call. Let's find out more, right? Let's have a chat, because the purpose of your website, remember, is to get them to do something. So we'll show an example at the end of what I call a scroll to a sale website and how that actually works. But I did see a few questions come up while I was going through that.
Yeah, there. You touched on both of them just in the last few moments of what you were talking about. One was to kind of go back to this idea of location-specific URLs. So, and you just kind of touched on that a little bit again. But basically, is there no need, or is there still a need to have a location-specific URL? And then, I mean, you sort of, when you were talking about pricing, also kind of parlayed that in that. The phrasing of the pricing is obviously going to be somewhat location specific to where you do your work. So maybe you could touch on each of those. How would you phrase the price qualifier, which you just said? And then is there a need to have location specific URLs?
So I wouldn't say having location specific URLs, because obviously, if somebody's looking for a particular service in the area, remember that AI is reading your entire website. So it goes through your website. It also goes through all your questions and answers. And I'll show you some examples of this at the end, and we'll bring a couple of websites up so you can see it. So if you have a website, and one of the best things to do is you go into Google and start typing about your particular niche of photography. So you might type in, what should I consider when hiring a school photographer? Because I know we've got a few school photographers on here. So you will get an AI summary, but then Google will also say underneath, people also ask this question. People are also searching for. So it gives two different areas. People also ask this question. People also search for. Then what you do is put one of those other questions back in, and then it will give you more. So you're refining it. And this is what makes up your FAQs page. So if you can have a question and then you have an answer to a question as people are searching, that's fantastic. And then you could put in a geographical area if you wanted within the answer or within the question. What should I look for when hiring a wedding photographer in New York? So you can put those keywords in there into your physical questions and also in your physical answers. Now, did you say there was another question about price?
Yeah, so the last was sort of a follow-up to how would you phrase the price qualifier, which you just covered, but would you have a quote, get a quote as a call to action, basically
Yeah.
somewhere?
Or you can say, it can be, your call to action can change all the way through your homepage, but ultimately the call to action, the terminology of the words can change, but the call to actions is still the same. So say, for instance, your call to action is to get somebody on a Zoom call. Then you can say, let's chat. So you have a button, let's chat. And then further down next to your price, get a quote, get a personalized quote today. But when they click on that, it goes through exactly the same Acuity page or Calendly page to book your Zoom call. So it's just for each area you could say, worried about what was it? Hiring the wrong photographer for your wedding. Let's chat and find out how we can tailor wedding for you. And then you could have a button underneath that. So try and think through all those various areas, how you can just change it slightly. So when people are reading it, yeah, I'm gonna get a quote. Because at the end, what you're trying to do is just take them from the website to a conversation.
That's really helpful.
So a scroll to a sale website, the good advantage of a scroll to a sale website, which is a website that I've just talked about, it empathizes with the customer. It sells the benefits of what you do. It shows them how the process works, as in the steps to the solution. It talks a little bit about you and your authority, so position you as an authority. And remember, Google is looking for authority. And then it qualifies them with a price, and then finally drives them to take action. So a scroll to a sale website gets found by AI. It ticks all the boxes for Google EE. So it shows your experience, your expertise, authority, and trust. It creates desire, because remember, people just don't buy photographs. They buy the purpose that those photographs bring. So if you're a portrait photographer and you want to sell wall art, don't try and sell the photo shoot, and don't have a homepage that just talks about a photo shoot. Have a homepage that talks about wall art and have lots of room mock-ups, because that is what people are buying. If you just try and sell the photo shoot, you're going to find it quite hard to sell the wall art, when at the very end of the session, you start talking to people about wall art and they've never been educated about it. So if you want people to buy wall art, you need to be talking about wall art on your homepage, and you need to be showing beautiful pictures of wall art in a home. Going back to that scenario with Land Rover Discovery, that's what it's doing. It's selling the end result. It's not trying to sell the car. The car is just, 4 wheels and a body and a color, right? So are other cars. But can other cars get you to the top of a mountain with the family in the back and the dog in the back, and and deal with the off-road terrain and give you an amazing adventure? So you've got to create desire for what the end result is. So think about the end result of your photography, what you help people achieve, and create desire for that. Get people excited for that, because they're not buying images, they're buying what your photography brings. And when you create desire and you sell the benefits, price becomes secondary. And also remember service as well. If you talk about your service in there, if you talk about your guarantees, if you talk around your fast turnaround times, if you showcase a lot of testimonials, people will put more value on you, right? So they'll be looking at 2 photographers going through the comparison stage. Oh, this guy's got a 100% satisfaction guarantee. He delivers his images within 48 hours or within 7 days. He's got loads of testimonials and 250 Google 5-star reviews. Yes, he's $100 more expensive, or he's £300 more expensive than this other person. But you know what? I feel this is a better fit, because the people who are coming to your website probably don't know you unless they've had a direct recommendation. So if somebody's coming to your website, they don't know you, you've got to develop that trust. And one of the best ways to develop trust is through the words and the testimonials and the case studies and the FAQs, not images alone, because images alone don't develop trust. And also remember that your customers are not photographers, so they don't look at images the same way that we look at images. And the other good thing about a scroll to a sale website, it qualifies your visitors. So you're not going to be jumping on calls with people who want a wedding photographer for $500 if your website has our wedding packages start from $2,500. So don't be scared to put your prices on there. Think of yourself as a client. What is the first thing you want to know? How much is a ballpark figure of what I'm going to spend? A lot of photographers, I'm not putting my prices on there because my competitors will see, or it might scare people away. Well, if it scares people away, that's great, because you don't want to be on the phone or doing Zoom conversation with somebody with a $500 budget when your prices are $2,500. So scare away the right people and attract the ideal clients, So anybody here, scare away the people who are not the right fit for you and attract the right sort of people. And then ultimately you want to prompt them to take action, because if they don't take action, then the website hasn't worked. And this is all done on the homepage. The most important part of your website is effectively the banner section. And this is where it says who you are, but more importantly, what you do. So this is the area where you'll have a standard static single image. It will probably, this text will be what is called your H1 tag, which is, it will say effectively what you do and the services that you offer. So it could be, wedding photographer, bespoke New York wedding photography, capturing beautiful images of your special day to treasure for years to come, or wedding photography that you're guaranteed to love. So not too much text on here. Your H1 tag should include your keywords and what you are, what you do. And then underneath that, the subheading is how you benefit people. And I'm just going to have to move my little screen so I can see this. So you'll see this website here, John's website. Capture your brand's unique story. Bring your story to life with compelling brand photography and video. And then he's got a call to action button as well. And here is an architectural photographer capturing beautiful spaces. Really simple image that shows exactly what he does. Interior and architectural photography that perfectly captures your designs. And then there's a call to action button there. And then underneath here, these are key benefits. And these are really good things to put underneath your banner. So, record your project, your designs captured, flexible client collaboration. You could have some of your key benefits with regards to your service. So you could have, 24-hour turnaround or 48-hour turnaround, 100% satisfaction guarantee, over 250 5-star reviews on Google. So this will create an impact. These are your key benefits standing out there, key service benefits. And then think about what you want your visitors to do. Do you want them to contact you? Do you want them to sign up for an email? Do you want them to phone you? Do you want them to download a brochure in exchange for something else? It's usually a good idea to have two call to action. So you have your main call to action, which could be a free consultation, and then your secondary call to action, which could be to download a brochure in exchange for an email address. Now, we all get annoying pop-ups when we go on websites that pop up pretty much straight away. But if you do a lot of online shopping, which I do, you notice that a lot of websites cleverly use a pop-up that comes up after about 30, 40 seconds. So once you've been on that website for about 30, 40 seconds and you're quite invested in that website, you've been searching through it, you might get a pop-up saying, join our special VIP club and get 10% off your first order, or get a $50 voucher for your first purchase. So why not think about creating a pop-up that comes up within 30 to 40 seconds that gives somebody something in exchange for their email address. So it could be a voucher, your $100 voucher to use against your wedding album package, $200 voucher to use against wall art when you book a family portrait shoot, because you want to get those people's email addresses. If they're not ready yet to click and book that consultation call, at least you can start following them up, because they're in the searching process. So they're looking for a photographer, and make sure that photographer is you. And if you have a testimonials page, I would recommend you just delete your testimonials page. If you've got a testimonials page on there with 20 or 30 testimonials and they're just sitting there on a testimonials page, delete that testimonials page and space those testimonials out throughout your entire website. Because a testimonials page, if you go and look at your website stats, you'd be surprised how many people actually visit that testimonials page. I would say, maybe 3 or 5%. If 80-90% of your traffic is on your home page, and then you've got your blogs page, your FAQs page, your service pages, get your testimonials all over there. Put a testimonial at the end of every blog. Put the testimonials on your FAQs page. Put testimonials beneath your services on your packages. The best value photographer I've ever worked with, or the best wedding photographer, perfectly captured our day. That would be underneath the pricing of your packages. Because if you can have a testimonial next to a price, saying how good and how much value it was and how they really enjoyed the whole service, that is just selling you there in the terms of somebody else. But if you use the testimonial, I would always say put 5 gold stars next to the testimonial. Put the person's full name, so Christian name and surname. Put their geographical location. So don't just put Mr. Smith, America, or Mr. Brown, England, right? It looks false. We look for these 5 stars. We see them all over Google. We see them all over booking.com, all websites now. So put 5 gold stars there. The person's testimonial in quotation marks. You can even put as well another happy customer's testimonial at the top. Then you've got the gold stars. Then you've got 2 or 3 lines of their testimonial. Then the person's name, geographical location. If you're working for a business, you could put, Sarah Smith, managing director of, and then the name of the company, and maybe the geographical area of the company. Now, with testimonials as well, a good thing to do is to ask your past customers for a testimonial, but prompt them. Because if you just ask them for a testimonial, the chances are they're going to come back with a very generic testimonial. Fantastic service, loved the photos, he was great, or she was great. That's not very good. So what you want to do, think about what people are worried about when they're purchasing from you or hiring your services, and then ask your past clients to give you a testimonial that overcomes that. So if you're a wedding photographer and the brides get very nervous, you could say to a bride who you've worked with, you could say, hi Claire, I know that you were really nervous about your wedding photography on your big day, but after the day you said how relaxed you felt with me and how it got rid of all your fears and totally put you at ease. I was just wondering if you could do me a little testimonial just to highlight that. So the testimonial that comes back is exactly what you've written about. If you want to do a testimonial about how amazing the album and how it's a beautiful representation of your big day, then you've got another testimonials about your albums, and that goes at the bottom of your pricing packages talking about albums. So try and tailor testimonials to different things, because I've done that a lot when I've been going to purchase something. It might be any particular service. I've got questions in my mind, and then if I see a testimonial saying fantastic service, prompt delivery, packaging was great, the product was totally protected, exactly the way it was sold online, great feedback, then it's answering all the questions that I may have. So try and get testimonials that really connect with potential future clients and eliminate their fears of using your services because other people have said, no, this isn't a worry. This person, puts you at ease. This person makes you feel relaxed. So one of the big things that Google likes to see is this steps to a solution. And I talked about showing your expertise. So what are the steps to the solution? How does it work? Because remember, a lot of people have never had or never worked with a professional photographer before. So it's great to show steps to a solution on your website. And this might be, step 1, book your consultation call. Step 2, schedule your photo shoot. Step 3, come along for a fun-filled photo shoot. Step 4, display beautiful wall art in your home to treasure for years. So you are showing the person from right at the very beginning with a consultation to how easy it is to have that beautiful wall art on their home. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to, I'm going to stop sharing. I'll take a few questions if anybody has any questions, and then we can look at a couple of websites with examples of the, I guess, Scroll to a Sale website and also FAQs pages and the like.
We do have a question waiting for you, Jeff. It says, for SEO and AI-based search platforms, wouldn't it make more sense now to go to a one-page website where all the information is available quickly for a potential client? Or do multiple layered sites with deep linking still, are they still the right way to go?
So it was, did you say like everything on a homepage?
Yeah,
so
that's the question. Yep.
Yeah.
Does it make more sense to do that versus the layered approach?
No, I would have the different pages, because FAQs should be a dedicated FAQs page, and it does show that it is an advantage having your FAQs on a separate page. Obviously, your blog should be on a separate page as well. And remember, there's a couple of different ways into your website, so people can come direct into the front end of your website. But then people who are doing more informational-based searches might come through your blog, or might actually come through your FAQs page. But then your FAQs and your blog needs to link back to your homepage or to your services pages. So if somebody is reading a blog about wedding photography or family portraiture, then as they're reading the blog, there should be some links in the blog to say, check out my services page here, or find out more about my wedding albums here. So your blog should lead people back in. But they are, as you saw on that search that I brought up, Google was showing blog pages and FAQ pages from photographers as well as home pages, and it's all about that quality content. And also, you don't want to overwhelm people with too much. Remember, the home page is there to ultimately get found, create desire, and prompt people to take action. You don't want to give too much away on your homepage. You don't want to overload people. The purpose of the homepage is to get them excited and get them to do the next thing. And you can answer a load of their questions on the call. Now, the FAQ page, you will get people who say, well, I'm not ready to book a call yet. I'm going to go through the FAQs and look at all those questions. Right, yeah. Then they might go back to your homepage and book a call. And because they might have booked a call because they feel like they trust you more because you've answered their questions on the FAQ page. And likewise for the blog and the case studies page as well. Does that make sense?
It certainly made sense, and I can wait for this. There was a follow-up question from this same individual. It was to say, good to know FAQ needs a dedicated page. Have you seen that an accordion-style display on a homepage?
Right, let's have a look. I'm going to do a share. Now, this is from one of my clients. I've been working with him on his FAQs page, and he's made a fantastic job of it. So can you see this page here?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is Philip Hatton. He's based in Portland, in the US, and he's a commercial photographer. So this is Philip's homepage. It's the Scroll to a Sale style homepage, and straight away there, imagery that moves people and your business forward, high impact photography, video, and aerial content rooted in brand strategy, performance, and visual craft. Book your free consultation. Now, this is his empathy section. Now, this is the benefits of his photography, not just pretty pictures, but it helps align with your audience. It tells your story. It creates a visual impact. It shows your brand consistency. Then he's got another book a consultation again. So you see that call to action is repeated. Then he's got some testimonials here with 5 stars and the person's name and the business. Then he's got, I call this like an authority slider. So it's great if you're working with companies, have some companies, allow companies' brands to sort of up your brand authority. So if you've worked for like Marriott Hotel and Hilton Hotels, you're a hospitality photographer, get them on there, because when somebody from Best Western comes and looks, they go, well, the Hiltons use them, the Marriott's use them, they must be good. Or if you're a school photographer, get some of the schools that you've worked for and the colleges and the universities on there, because the other schools, well, if they're using them, they must be good. So yeah, that's his testimonial slider. Now he's showing his steps to a solution. Okay, now note his steps to a solution here, and we'll see how that is repeated on the FAQ page. More testimonials again. Then he's got a price qualifier, $1,999, and he's got 100% satisfaction guarantee. A little bit about himself there. More testimonials, and finally, yeah, time to take action. Why wait any longer? You know, if you're not showing up online, if you're missing out, if you're not getting ahead of your competitors, click on this link. Let's book a call, and we'll talk about how you can get your business showing up online with attention-grabbing photography. So if we look at FAQs on Philip's website here, we'll see he has his own dedicated FAQs. And first of all, I keep having to move this little slide out of the way. So we've got general FAQs. So this is some of the questions that he's found on Google. Like, how can a commercial photographer, a brand photographer, help grow my business? Right. So you'll see some of these are typical, you know, how much does it typically cost to hire a brand photographer? These are stuff that people are putting into Google. So these are general questions that he answers in depth. So the more detail you can give, you can't have too much depth in those questions there. So these are general questions. Then he has questions regarding the consultation call. So that he's created a dedicated FAQ for each step of the customer process. So what's involved in the consultation call? How does it work? Then the strategy meeting, then the shoot, then the final delivery. So break your photography down into those steps. And then that way you can answer all the customers' questions that they have about every single part of that process, and then try and get in some questions that people will be searching for on Google as they're actually physically searching for it. So AI can say, there's the question. That is a regularly searched for question. You know, how soon should I hire my wedding photographer? What would I expect to pay for a family portrait shoot? That sort of stuff. Have that in your FAQs so that when AI comes to your website and it sort of analyzes your website, it will go, right, here's an in-depth answer to this particular question. So when people are searching for this on Google, I'm going to come back to this because this is giving quality content. So it puts it away in a drawer. Then somebody types in, you know, how soon should I hire my wedding photographer? Oh, right, I remember this guy. He's got that perfect answer. And then if you've got, I'll show you actually on one of my own websites. So I wrote a book called the Northumberland 250. So I live in Northumberland, which is on the border with Scotland, and we have a road trip called the Northumberland 250. So it's a 250-mile road trip around Northumberland and the Scottish borders. It's very beautiful, fantastic road trip, and that's the book that I wrote there. So I've created a website just for this book. Now, when I started researching it, I went onto Google to find out what people were asking, and I created an FAQ page based around what people were asking. So the first question that Google kept flinging up was, what is the best time of year to do the Northumberland 250? So the first question that I've got is answering that question. But to add more depth to that, I've given an answer, then I've said, I've actually written an entire blog on it. So then you come to my blog, and I've written an entire blog about the Northumberland 250, the different times of years different times of the season to do it. And then when you come to the very end of the blog, you'll see that my blog has 3 call to actions. Are you planning a trip to Northumberland? Thinking about exploring Northumberland? Check out our 377-page full color guide. So that's getting them to purchase. So that's a call to action. Next one, don't forget to join our Northumberland 250 Facebook group. And then the next thing is to direct people to another blog. You know, so one blog should potentially lead into another. So what about this one? 5 trips for planning your ultimate adventure in Northumberland. So does that make sense on the blog and FAQ side of things?
Yes, and you got a comment that it was brilliant. I have to agree. It's like that interplay between the FAQ and the blog is really a nice approach. As is the accordion approach, and I think you know this. Lots of folks on this call know this, but that's an ideal way to skim. What's my question? What's my question? What's my question? And click the plus and get the answer. So,
And
so
also these sort of things, these accordion things, they're built into website. It has what's called schema markup. So that is basically, in technical terms, it's saying to the search engine, this is the question, this is the answer. So that the search engine knows what it is. You don't have to do anything behind it. You just put in your question and put in the answer.
right.
All the search stuff's done behind there. Now, Philip's gone one step further and he started creating client case studies, which are a bit like a blog, but the blog is more about clients' questions, right? You tend to find where a lot of people, when they write a blog, they will write a blog about a photography job that they've done. Now, that should be more of a case study to show who the customer was, what the customer's problem was, and how you solved that customer's problem with your photography. A blog should be more about answering questions. So if you're a family photographer, you could create a blog not just about talking about wall art and decorating your home with beautiful wall art, but you talk about things like best things to do during the school holidays with your family, best family-friendly restaurants in your local area. So you become known as the photographer who serves families. And also people who are searching for family stuff to do, have families, they could potentially be your clients. I have pet photographers who write blogs about how to train your dog, best dog walks to do in the local area, best dog-friendly pubs you can pop in for a drink after you've done a walk. So the whole blog is about the joy of owning a dog, and also directing people saying, if you love your dog, maybe you should have some photographs of your dog as well. So think about your blog should be about answering questions, but then Phil's created some great case studies to show how his photography has solved a problem for a particular business. The strategy, the creative plan together, how it was produced, what it was, and then, what the outcome was. So showing other people how photography has been a benefit to their business, or, help them generate an outcome, is an easier sell because it's easy for people to understand.
We had a follow-up question to the FAQ page. The question is, I'm a headshot photographer. Would you recommend I have separate FAQ pages for individuals and teams and events? So 3 different FAQ pages.
Yeah, so you could do I would just have an FAQs page, but then you can have your FAQs broken down into, how he had the consultation. So you could actually have an FAQs page. So you land on one FAQs page, and then you have individuals, teams, or events. So you have individual headshot photography, corporate team headshot photography, event headshot photography. Click on that, then it goes through the process, consultation, day of the shoot, because it might be different, because obviously with individuals, they might be coming to your studio. With a corporate headshot, you're actually going to their premises, and so it works slightly different. And then with event photography, it works slightly different again. So the process is different for all 3 of those. So that's the way I would do it. Simplify it by the customer client type, the individual, the corporate, or the event, and then break that down into how the process works.
I have another question that's popped up as we're reviewing Philip's website. Is Philip's bookings increased since the changes, or hasn't it been long enough?
To be totally honest, I don't know, but Philip has only actually done the FAQs and the case studies about 2 weeks. However, I was speaking to a wedding photographer last week who's actually had 2 inquiries and bookings come through from his FAQs page, and his FAQs page has only been live about 3 months. And he's a specialist wedding photographer, so he does alternative wedding photography. So it's for people who, they like rock music and have lots of tattoos, and they don't want, his strapline is, you know, you don't have wedding photography like your nana. So it's not like it's not like your grandmother's wedding. It's different. It's for people who want to be rock stars, and people have come to him through his FAQs page. And like I said, with my own business, I've had 2 bookings come through since Christmas for my mentoring from my FAQs page, because I always ask people, you know, how did you find me? Yeah, I was typing into Google, blah blah blah, and I landed on your FAQs page, and then that brought me into your physical homepage. So it's a chance for you to come up if you're not ranking very well for that single keyword, but you're answering somebody's questions. AI is going to pick you up and fling you to the front.
Well, this has been very informative. Like there's so much information. I'm sure everyone feels the same way that I do. I sit here and my brain is thinking about the website and just sort of reviewing and what we can do to fortify and change and be more thoughtful with content. So thank you so much for your time.
No
I know
problem.
over, so we really appreciate you giving us the extra time. I do want to give folks any last minute questions that they might have. But I certainly know we're all going to be looking at our websites differently after today. So thank you. Are there any other questions from anyone in the audience today? Doesn't look like it. I think having the opportunity to ask you questions and as you were going through it was really helpful too. So thank you so much for allowing that as well. Folks are thanking you, telling you it's very useful. So yeah, amazing. This entire webinar will be available for replay. I know folks will want to review it, maybe even share it out to other folks on their teams. So within the week or so, check your email boxes. We'll be sending it out to everyone who registered. And certainly if there are questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out to us. And we'll make sure people are connected. I know a lot of folks follow you on LinkedIn as well. So they can always follow up with you there. So that's all we've got. Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate it.
Honestly, my pleasure. And like you said, if anybody has a question, if you connected with me on Facebook or just search me out on Facebook, search me out on LinkedIn, or go over to my website and drop me an email. And I always answer questions in person. So if you message me on Facebook or LinkedIn, the chances are you'll get a voice clip back off me. It doesn't matter if you whether you're one of my mentoring clients or you're just somebody who wants an answer to a question. It's nothing for me to give you a 5-minute voice clip back. I genuinely do try and help photographers, all over the world, and it's all about giving back to other people. And I like to see photographers really succeed at this and get their websites up to the front page of Google and start getting a lot more customers.
That's phenomenally generous and clearly felt. Folks are saying, thank you, on point as always. Thank you so much. Thank you, very informative. Cheers. So thank you for your contributions to our industry. They really, really are felt clearly.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
All right. Take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your week. Bye.